Hi guys, my name is Natalie Sierra. I am a poet and author. I live in Southern California with my husband and my 3 kids. I just recently published a volume of poetry. It's called Medusa. I'm going to show you right here. It's a reworking of the myth. So a lot of people don't realize that Medusa wasn't always a serpent-haired woman. She was a goddess, and she was a victim of sexual assault, and as a punishment she is turned into this creature. So what I really wanted to do was kind of let people know the backstory and give her justice, and that's what I try to do in my writing, is try to give justice to characters that maybe we don't always think about. So in my story for the If I Die Before I Wake Volume 3 is it's like a reworking of Frankenstein, but it also has some of my favorite Cthulhu mythology thrown in there, because I love the Lovecraft mythology. So I put the two together and kind of mashed them up. So my story is called The Returned, and it is about a doctor who's playing God and brings back a woman from the dead, someone he kind of knew and but didn't know too well. And what he does is actually leave her body open to these forces, and one of them is a faceless demon or creature that is from the Cthulhu mythology, although in the story he's unnamed. So I was going to read an excerpt from my story for you, so please enjoy. This is The Returned. I tore the envelope open. As soon as I walked into the cold dorm I shared with another scholarship kid, as we were so derisively called, his name being Dan something. I can't quite remember anymore. Inside the envelope were 2 sheets of paper. The first was a photocopy of my transcripts showing my average class scores and tremendous test scores. The other was an address, date, and time, written delicately on thick, creamy paper. Arkham Asylum, basement level. September 11th, midnight. Come alone. Tell no one. It closed with a curious quote, one I had never seen before. That is dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. The letter went up easily in the common sink, glowing like the warning skin of a poisonous toad. Thursday, September 11th. I walked the silent halls of the asylum, my nervous feet ticking through the darkened corridors. The front door swung open easily, revealing an abandoned guard post. I did not dare to call out, simply made my way to the elevator, a nervous sweat breaking out all over my body. The elevator smelled of rusted metal and a strong disinfectant, trying to mask the general odor of death and decay that hung around this place. It rumbled quietly down to the lowest level, a place that no one would ever go willingly. Water dripped slowly from an unseen corner into a murky puddle. It was dark, and I bumped into boxes, containers, and pipes that jutted out from the walls and ceiling at odd angles. I felt a catch on my trousers before a loose nail tore a hole into my only good pair. I nearly cried out, but soldiered on now, feeling more determined than ever. A double door up ahead glowed with the faint outline of a light. What a dying man must see when he is visited by a vision of what awaits us on the other side. Pushing open the door revealed a well-lit surgical operation room, complete with observation windows at the top. I could just make out the outline of a man watching a surgery in progress. I approached the group of men slowly, unsure of what I had stumbled upon. A man in scrubs and a mask straightened up and looked at me. It took me several seconds to realize this was Dr. Lundgren. You're late. Get your scrubs on. He nodded to the left, where a room revealed a standard wash basin you would see in any old hospital, and dozens of neatly folded scrubs. I scrubbed my hands and suited up, donning a mask around my sweaty face. The first thing I noticed was that the body on the marble slab was already dead. The skin was gray and lifeless, the odor of embalming chemicals biting my sinuses. A few glanced at me as I approached, and I recognized a pair of eyes from my campus. I assumed everyone here were students from Arkham University. I scanned the eyes around the body, trying to see if I recognized anyone else, when the gray heart that was as lifeless as a plum pit suddenly shivered with a burst of life. I stumbled back and nearly knocked over a tray containing surgical instruments. They clattered loudly, but I grabbed the tray before it fell to the ground. A few men around the body gasped in shock, but no one stumbled back as I had. They had all been waiting for this. I could see a sick gleam in Dr. Lundgren's eyes, a dark flicker of joy that chilled my very soul. I should have turned around then and left the city, the state, but I lacked the moral fortitude. And if I am being honest, that heartbeat signified something else to me. It meant endless, bountiful life. And if I was to be a part of the team that could give that to the world, I would never be forgotten. I could enjoy the fruits of that labor for an eternity. I was blinded by my own greed and egotism. God help me, so I was. Well, there's your expert. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I do want to answer a couple questions. So let me see. I'll start with, what do you like to do when you're not writing? Well, I'm a huge reader. I read all kinds of things, poetry mostly, but I do love horror, and I love to watch movies, especially horror movies. I love to be scared, and I love the feeling that you get when a really good ghost story just sticks with you and you can think about it all the time. What did I want to be when I grew up? I never thought I would be a writer. Art wasn't a big draw for me. I mean, it was, but financially, I didn't think that it would be something that I could rely on. And it wasn't until I was much older that I really began pushing myself, because I realized that this is something that I wanted to do, and just damn the consequences, I guess. What does literary success look like to me? Well, literary success. Oof. I think that besides just being able to write comfortably, which would be that I or just any writer can write without feeling like we aren't being taken seriously or we aren't making enough money. I think literary success is just being able to write and have the time to write and the freedom to write and write what we would like to write about. Literary success can mean so many things to so many different people. Money is probably a big one, but for me, that's not that big. I mean, I would love to be making money from it, but that's not why I do it. I do it because I love it. I love to write. I have to write. I feel compelled to write. And it just makes me happy if someone does come up to me and say, hey, you know what, I read that story, I read that poem, I think it was great, and good job. That's what literary success looks like to me. What energizes me or exhausts me about writing? Writing itself doesn't exhaust me. It's more when I'm feeling stuck on something and I'm trying to get out of that kind of writer's block, that can mess me up sometimes, because I'll just keep trying to write, and then as I'm trying to write, I'm moving away from the story just to get something on the page, so I have to stop and find inspiration again. So I'll watch a movie, read something else, something outside of the genre of what I'm writing. So that's why you should like to go to poetry, because it's never really a horror poem. It's something very descriptive, and so you kind of get new words in your head, and reading poetry really re-energizes me and gets me back into the swing of writing. Do I Google myself? I used to, but now I don't care. I used to care about what I looked like online, my presence online, but now I realize that it's not really that important what people think of me, because it doesn't do anything for me. Like, those people don't pay my bills, those people don't own me, you know, they don't do anything for me, so I just avoid it. um, when did I first consider myself a writer? I had been writing maybe since middle school. It was a way to just kind of get things off my chest. I had a very troubled time growing up, and so the arts were just something that I always did, just as a kind of therapy for myself. But it wasn't until maybe like 2009 when I started to really consider that my work, my poetry, was maybe a little bit better than other things I had seen online, and I just kept pushing and kept trying, and I think that's when I really started to feel like my writing could take me somewhere, and I'm really proud of the things that I've done as a single mother. I was a teen mother, and yeah, I was a teen mother. I went to college, I pushed through, and I did everything, and I'm doing everything that I want to do, and that's so important to me, and it's important for me to tell people about it, because it gives other people hope. Like, your life is not over just because, you know, you made some decisions when you were young that you didn't maybe realize the consequences of, because that's what happens when you're young. You don't think about the future like that. So yeah. So I've done a lot of things in my life, and I'm proud of it, and I don't, you know, let people tell me what I should or shouldn't be doing with my life, because I'm doing it all. And I'm happy, and I feel like I have a great life. Yeah. And I own social media, and how can writers or readers, well, writers too, interact with me? Yes, I'm actually very active on social media. I think it's a great way to just talk to people. I love being on social media. I grew up with the internet. I grew up with computers. It's always been in my life. I am on Instagram and Twitter at Pandora Demise. It's all one word, so PANDORA DEMISE. And I'm also on Facebook. Natalie Sierra is my author page, and I do hope you guys reach out and say hi, and I'd like to talk to you all and see what the future has in hold for us. Well, I hope you guys liked my story, The Returned. I look forward to hearing from you guys, seeing your guys' faces, yeah, talking to you guys. Well, hope you guys have a good day, and see you on the other side. Bye.